Most people, in the everyday course of their lives, are genuinely interested in the welfare of others. This is the basis for all human charity. You see it in sports, business, and family. Yet, with all his regard for his fellow man, if you show a man a group picture in which he is included, whose picture does he look for first? His own. He passes a mirror and can't resist a quick look at himself. Now this is entirely natural, because people have a great interest in themselves and their own affairs. This is a fundamental every salesman should understand. We can make use of this fact and be more effective as salesmen by remembering always that man is first interested in himself, in such things as his identity. He likes people to know and appreciate him. His remarks. He likes to have people listen to what he says. His wants. He is interested in the things he and his family want and need. His opinions. He doesn't like people to disagree with what he says. His decisions. He wants to feel that he is making up his own mind. His identity, his remarks, his wants, his opinions, and his decisions. When we know these points of interest, we can better understand human behavior. And when we apply this knowledge to handling people, we can better influence them in the direction we want them to go. Now let's see how it works, and what we can do about these things. First, make the other man feel important. This philosophy was understood and used by Andrew Carnegie, who sold $1 million order of steel rails to the Pennsylvania Railroad by naming a mill after the president of the road. John Dewey, America's foremost philosopher, stated that the wish to feel important is man's deepest urge. Carnegie simply applied his knowledge of this factor of human behavior. You don't have a steel mill to name after the people you want to sell, but you can make use of the same principle and cash in on the urge to feel important. There are many ways to do this in your relations with people. Suppose you see one of your prospects on the street. Maybe you have to do a little quick thinking to remember his name. And as you approach him...
Hello, Mr. Bailey. How are you?
Hello there.
By using his name, you at once start making him feel important.
Did you get your house painted? I remember you were wondering about the man you hired.
It turned out fine. He made the house look like new. Nice of you to ask. By the way, I'm intending to drop in to see you pretty soon.
By showing interest in their affairs, you make them feel they are important to you. But your interest must be sincere. Here's another. Suppose you're busy with customers when you see one of your prospects walk in.
Will you excuse me for just a second? I had an appointment with a man who just came in. Want him to know I'm here. Good morning, Mr. Williams. I'll be with you in a few minutes. Would you mind waiting?
Not at all.
While you're waiting, you might like to look at the new folders on that table. Just make yourself at home.
Let them know you are interested in them, even if you're busy. Here again, you take advantage of the fact that people like to have others show interest. And always use their names if you know them. A man's name is, to him, the most important sound in the English language. By remembering names and showing a sincere interest in your prospects, you take advantage of the human urge to feel important, and you make a good start toward influencing them in the direction you want them to go. The second point of interest to any man is his remarks. He likes to have an audience. He doesn't like to be interrupted when he is talking, so be a good listener. Many top salesmen, executives, and even diplomats have put over their ideas simply by knowing when and how to listen to the other man. One example is Dwight Morrow, who was sent to Mexico as ambassador back in the 20s when relations were strained. He met Mexican President Calles at a dinner, but instead of launching into a discussion of international problems, Morrow asked the president his views and plans for the future and sat back and listened. The next day, President Calles announced that here at last was an ambassador who talked his own language. Charles W. Eliot, longtime Harvard president, declared that giving your whole attention to someone speaking to you is the highest form of flattery. And to quote Reader's Digest, many persons call a doctor when all they want is an audience. Well, we can use this desire for an audience to advantage in influencing people. For instance,
And it has wonderful riding qualities. Don't you like an easy riding car, Mrs. Warren?
Yes, indeed. There's nothing I like so much as my comfort. Take this chair I'm sitting in. When it was delivered, it didn't feel right. I went right back to the furniture store, and I told them what I thought. I pointed out it wasn't like the sample they showed me on the floor. My cousin Minnie had an experience like that once, but then Minnie was always having trouble. Goodness, I've been going on about furniture and Cousin Minnie and forgetting what you came for. I think we'll go and look at that car since it rides so nice.
yes, people like to have an audience. When you listen attentively, you gain in more than one way. Often they say things you need to know, give information about their needs and wants, which will help you make a sale. And, strange as it may seem, by being a good listener, you often get a reputation for being a fine conversationalist, even though you say very little. Being a good listener isn't always easy. Your friend Caspar Newton, in his anxiety to make sales, has a little trouble that way at times.
Don't these books have nice bindings?
Yes, but I happen to be more interested in the authors.
Oh, we've got the world's best authors. Now, just feel this leather. Genuine Morocco, sir. It's created especially for this new series of books and goes through 17 different processes. The backs are imprinted in gold. Imagine a row of these volumes.
Caspar went wrong when he kept on talking instead of listening. When the prospect mentioned authors, that was Caspar's cue to listen. Many a sale has been lost by too much talking, and especially by talking about something the prospect is not interested in. On the other hand, it's hard to be a listener if the prospect won't talk. The way to get him talking is to ask questions. Here's an example.
Nope, not interested in a new car.
Would you mind saying why, Mr. Jones?
My old car's plenty good enough. Yep, and she runs like a clock.
Yes, I know. Our service record shows you take good care of your car.
I bring it in every 1,000 miles. Been driving 25 years. Know cars pretty well. The way I see it.
Notice how, by asking questions, you can get them started talking. Then, listen. And very often, this implied flattery thaws out a cold prospect.
And when I bought my next car, Martha thought I was crazy. But I run up a lot of miles in business. Gotta have a new one every now and then. And you've got a point there, young man. I'll think it over. We might do business.
Like this prospect, many people have virtually sold themselves when they were allowed to talk. Be a good listener. It has other advantages to you. For example, you find out what's on the other man's mind, what he really wants. Often that's the opening you need in order to make a point that will lead to a sale. You may learn something you didn't know, a hidden objection, the real reason he hesitates to buy. Once you learn this, you can plan accordingly. But to find out, you've got to listen. All humans like to have an audience. By listening, you take advantage of this urge. You can use it to help influence your prospects. Whether you're selling products or ideas, the same principles work. To improve your ability in handling people, remember that man is first interested in himself in such things as his identity. So make him feel important. He likes people to know and appreciate him. Second, his remarks. So be a good listener. Besides these things, man is highly interested in his wants, his opinions, and his decisions. We'll see how to understand and apply our knowledge of these three in the next film of this series. The most successful salesmen are those who capitalize on people's interest in themselves, gain their goodwill by showing sincere interest. This is the key to handling people.